All right. Hey, everybody. What's up? Today is Monday the 20th, and I wanted to share my day with you, tell you how things went, whether I took any hills or if I won, what did I come up on, all that kind of jazz. So it's still early in the day. It's 5:46, but I've had some activity already today, and I wanted to share. So first off, earlier today, probably maybe 3-4 hours ago, a guy posted up some stuff on OfferUp. He posted up a bunch of pretty good, what do you call it, Game Boy games. It was a nice Game Boy lot. And he posted that stuff up there for like $100 or best offer, right? And you could see all the games, and they were good games. They were mostly all good games. One of them was Mega Man 5 for the Game Boy. You know, one of those big Game Boys. Mega Man 5 for Game Boy, by the way, goes for about $70 to maybe $100, $120 just for the loose cartridge. So I was like, all right, $100. I sent him a full price offer of $100. 4 minutes into the post, 4 minutes. I said, boom, here's your full price offer. Let's meet. Where you want to meet? Crickets. So 2 minutes later, I said, hey, man, what's the address? I'm on my way. Crickets. So maybe 5 minutes later, I sent another offer of $120. And he got at me maybe 3 or 4 minutes after that and says, I'm going through a lot of offers right now. I'll get back to you, right? And he had put $100 for all the games, or you could buy them each separately for a price. So I see you, crazy card. So I was like, all right. So then he, a little bit later, maybe 5 minutes later, said, hey, I got a Game Boy system. Would you be interested in that? And I said, yeah, I'll take a look at it when I get there to buy the other stuff. And he was like, $150 for everything. So I looked all that stuff over again, and I'm like, man, $150. This stuff's pretty cool. He's probably got some killer freaking Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64 stuff or something. You know, he's probably got some killer shit, right? Because there's a lot of RPGs in here. Hey, Dennis Picker. So anyway, I was like, okay, $150. Send me the address. So he sends me an address, right? And then I put the address in Google, and the address is to like, I think Burlington Coat Factory or something like that out here in Las Vegas. So I'm like, well, I'm thinking in my mind, if I go meet him at Burlington Coat Factory, then there's no chance that I'll be able to see any games that he has in his house because he won't be at his house. And $150 is pretty much top of the mark for these games. And I don't really even want these games, really. What I want is the Super Nintendo, the GameCube, all the killer stuff that he might have back at his house. So what I do is I message him. Yeah, I'll be there in 20 minutes. I message him, hey, man, here's my phone number. Give me a call. Crickets. 5 minutes later, I message him, hey, you got any games for Super Nintendo, GameCube, Nintendo 64, that kind of stuff? Crickets. And then, say 20, 25 minutes later, I didn't leave my house. I stayed here at the house. I messaged him, hey, I don't see you. Where you at? Crickets. 5 minutes later, hey, man, are you here yet? Are you coming? Crickets. I hit refresh on my thing, and the listing is marked as sold. So this little fucker, he sold that fucking listing to somebody else. He had a whole bunch of bidders or whatever, and he sold it to somebody else, didn't tell me jack shit, And I would have wasted my time and gas and energy and all that stuff and been sitting up there at that Burlington Coat Factory for 20 minutes or who knows how long, waiting on this jackass to show, and he would have never shown. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. Here's why I'm telling this story. Because my experience from taking L's has led me to understand how OfferUp, LetGo, Craigslist, all this kind of stuff works. And when you see something, when you see a buyer that's, that's not really fully engaged, like this, like I'm not a buyer. When you see a seller that's not really fully engaged, like this guy was, and the price is very low on something that he has, then you know that he has multiple people bidding, making him offers on what he has. So you just have to be super careful about dealing with those kind of people. Hey, Bridget. Hey, Michael. How you guys doing? Welcome to my live rant. Today was a win, by the way. I'll get to my win in a second. But that was a win right there because I ducked a hard L of trying to meet with that guy who wasn't even going to show. And never responded, never even bothered to respond to me. Okay? So that was the bad. Let's get to the good. Another guy posted on OfferUp a nice lot of Xbox games. And I contacted him like maybe 5 minutes or so after he posted it. And he posted maybe about 25 games or something like that for $30. I hit, boom, $30, Hey, man, I can come now. Where you at? Blah, 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 right? And he's like, I got to go somewhere, but I'll be back in a couple of hours. I said, okay, cool. I said, as long as we have a deal, that's great. Can you mark this as sold? And, whenever you're ready, you could just let me know. He got back to me a few minutes later and said, yeah. He says, I got like 3 other people trying to contact me. He says, I didn't even know this stuff was, that hot or whatever. He said, but yeah, man, you got it. And 10 minutes later, he marked it as sold. So probably about an hour ago, he messaged me and he just messaged me his straight address. So I went over there, brought my tub and stuff like that. And I was like, hey, man, how you doing? So I went to his door and I greeted him. Hey, how you doing? I'm Barry from OfferUp. We shook hands. He brought me in. His little son was there. And I was like, hey, dude, how you doing? And my experience, okay? I'm going to talk about my experience a little bit, right? Because I don't get everything right, but sometimes I get some shit right. And in sales, in dealing with people, the quicker you can get them to like you or to laugh or to engage with you, the better. So what I did was I'm in his house and right away I look around me. He doesn't have a dog. He has a son who's pretty cool, who's greeting me. But on his wall, he has a bunch of guitars. And in his living room, he has like an amp and some other stuff, right? So this guy plays guitars, right? And then I take a further look at him and I'm like, you know what? This guy's about maybe 45, 50 years old, kind of stringy hair dude. He might have been in a band before. I'm looking around his house. His house looks all right. It's not a bad house. This is all the things that are going into my mind while I'm talking to him and looking over the games and all that kind of stuff. So I'm bullshitting with him, man. I'm like, hey, man, I see you got those guitars. Those look pretty cool. I said, you a rock and roller, man? Are you famous rock and roller? You been in a band before? He's like, nah. His son's like, yeah, he was in a band. He was in a band a long time ago. Yeah, he was. And he's like, yeah, I was in a band back in Germany and blah, blah, blah. You never probably heard of them, though, and this and that. And I'm like, man, play something for me, man. You got all those guitars. let's hear something. He's like, nah, man, I haven't played him in years and this and that, blah, blah, blah. So we're bullshitting. We're building a rapport. And I'm looking over the games and stuff. Everything looks good. And then I asked him, I said, hey, you got any other video game stuff? And I go through my list of what I like. And his son, well, he says like, yeah, I got some Dreamcast games. I got a bunch of Dreamcast games. Some aren't even open, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, yeah, well, bring them down. I'll take a look at them and stuff like that. And he's like, well, they're not here. They're at the other house. And his son's like, I know where they're at, Dad. I know where they're at. I could bring them over next week when I come visit you. I guess he's divorced and like his son is there like every other weekend or something like that. And his son was like, yeah, I got some Wii games and PlayStation games. I'll sell you. So I got his son on my side, ready to sell me his games, his son's games. And his son knows where his dad games are. And he's fully into it, right? He's fully into it. His dad's digging me. He likes my fro. His son's ready to freaking run his hands through my fro because this could be the first and only time he could ever touch a black man's afro and not get his ass whooped. And it'd be cool. It'll be super cool, right? So anyway, we're shooting the shit, man. And I look through the games. I give the guy my card. You know what I mean? He's walking me out, and I'm like, yeah, man, when you call me, definitely you're going to have to play me a song on the guitar, man. I want to hear it. And he's smiling, and it's just an all around good thing. Okay. So pretty much I got the games. I'll show you them in a second. I got them right here. It's just an all around good thing. But I built that rapport up with him. I was only in his house 5 or 6 minutes, but all that stuff happened in 5 or 6 minutes because I paid attention. I used my skills on what I learned, what not to do and what to do, and you know what I mean? Like when he says he didn't, he hadn't played in a while, didn't want to play. I knew not to press him, oh, come on, man, like that wasn't the way to go. You know what I mean? But the way to go was, hey, when you call me again, you can have, I told him you can have all the equipment and everything all fired up, ready to go. So I can, check you out. And he was into it, man. So it was just all good. Hey, Mothership Products, I see you. It was just all good. So anyway, let me show you the video game haul that I got from that guy. All right. Scoot it up a little bit. This game right here, I got this on top. It's Fatal Frame. It's worth like $30 just for that game. That's why I bought the whole bundle. By the way, this guy, he keeps his stuff in excellent condition. I mean, it's like Nier, man. Maybe he plays it once or twice, whatever. It's just in really, really good condition. But, I had fun sharing my story about how I took an L the other day. And I figured, you know what, maybe I'll just start sharing stories with you guys on what I do throughout my day, as far as like if I take an L or if I win, and, just maybe share stuff with you and share it in story form rather than just say, here's the crap I got, take a look, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? Because, I think when people ask about reselling and stuff like that, this is really the kind of shit they need to know, like when you go into somebody's house, you need to pay attention of everything. If they've got a dog, if the husband and wife are arguing with each other, you know what I mean? If it's a sketchy situation, like you really do need to know what the heck's going on. I'll get you guys questions in just a second. You really need to be on your P's and Q's and have your wits about you. And if you play it the right way, then you'll have a good experience most of the time, So anyway, I'll get to some of your questions here. Let's see. Hey, Alt World 2018. Will you be selling as one big lot on eBay? That's a good question. The answer is nope. What I'll do is I'll take these two games for sure, and maybe one or two other games, sell those on eBay because they're high dollar games. And then I'll bring the rest to my local video game place, because he gives me about 35% on price charts on price charting for the games. So that's what I'll do. If they're good games, you know what I mean? If they're like $10 games or more, he'll give me like 50%. But this is a quick way for me to dump the games, and I don't have to take pictures of them and ship them out in bulk and all that stuff, which is cool. But if you can get rid of them in a half an hour and get the same money or just a pinch less than taking pictures of them and dealing with customers' returns and all that crap, it's an easy decision for me. So, yeah. Okay, let's see here. We got some other people in the chat here. The Bubbles King, cool story. Thank you very much, Bubbles King. Nice to see you. Denise Pickers. Barry, do you resell full-time or do you work another job? No, man. I resell full-time. I'm out here, man, hard body karate chopping. Yeah, like a motherfucker, man. When you're out here and when you're out here hunting for video games, like if that's what you do for your reselling, if that's your niche, which it is my niche, you pretty much have to be full-time if you want to really get some good scores. Like I was part-time working with Lyft, and like last summer, I believe, or something like that. And I was like, man, I don't know why I really can't find too many scores. By the way, if you guys have questions, go ahead and feel free to ask them in the chat. I didn't understand why I wasn't, finding a lot of stuff. And out here in Las Vegas in the summertime, you think, oh man, wow, it's great. Summertime, lots of yard sales. Nope. Summertime sucks for yard sales in Las Vegas. It just does, man. It's too hot. You know what I mean? People don't want to have yard sales, and it sucks ass. So, sniping on OfferUp and Facebook Marketplace and all that stuff is the way to go. So last summer, when I was doing Lyft and I was, reselling part-time, it was hard for me to find stuff, man. And the moment I let Lyft go and started hunting full-time, I started having great luck. I started having really good luck, and then I went to Northern California to go stay with a friend of mine's house for about 10 days. That's when I found that Tesla jacket. Didn't find it, actually. My niece's husband, who's an engineer at Tesla, gave it to me. But I came upon a ton of video game stuff out there in the Bay Area, and it's been on and cracking ever since. But it's full time. And when I say full time, I mean, man, you get up, you do your shipping, and then you get right to looking, right to hunting, all the way till probably about maybe 7:00 p.m. After that, you can turn it off and go do what you got to do or whatever. Really after that, it's time to list. But yeah, man, full time. Let me get to some of your questions. Do you drop ship? If not, why? If not, are you thinking about starting any details? I don't even know what that means. But no, I don't drop ship. No, man. I see. Here's the thing, right? When you're working, I'm niched up in video games. When you're niched up in video games sell so quick that you don't have to do a lot of that goofy shit that you would have to do in other niches. You know what I mean? And I'm not calling other niches goofy and fucking with people. I'm not doing that. I'm just saying that video games sell so well that you don't have to go through a lot of the hurdles that you would have to with other niches. So no, I don't drop ship. I I hunt and I sell some stuff on eBay and a lot of stuff locally. You know what I mean? So that's pretty cool. Let's see. I love your stories. Keep telling them. I think I will. I like telling them. What city are you in? I'm in good old hot ass Las Vegas, Nevada. You know what I mean? And the game hunting is okay to semi good. In you guys' off season, like in say September, well, say October, November, that's when we have a ton of community sales. And when you hit 100 houses in a day, you're gonna find stuff. So, that's just how it is. How do you look for video games? Hey, homeless picker. I hope you're not really homeless. That would suck, but maybe you're homeless like you drive around in a van like the college picker, which I think is pretty rock star. How do you look for video games? I look for them everywhere on OfferUp. I look for them on OfferUp, LetGo, Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace. I pass out my card a ton. Some people call me from passing out cards. I have friends at some of the local GameStop places that work there. Yeah. And they send me people sometimes. Sometimes people come in with box loads of shit for GameStop and have no idea they don't pay cash. Out here in Las Vegas, GameStops don't pay cash. So when you got a shit ton of games and you want cash, you go to GameStop and they're like, nah, we don't pay cash. But this guy, Barry, he pays cash. They give him my card, and every once in a while, I get some pretty good hits like that. So, yeah, man. The local hustle is always better. Okay. Let's see. Upworld says, do you ever buy any goods? Wait a minute. Do you ever buy any good, cheap video games online, then sell them to your local guy who buys them from you? Like online from like Mercari and eBay and stuff like that? Nah, I don't. I think one of the main reasons for that, for me, is it's too slow. It's too hit and miss. I don't have the patience for it. That kind of thing. Now, I have heard of people doing that. But yeah, I think more so what I'm going to start doing, and I'll share this with you guys. I think more so what I'm going to start doing is, now that OfferUp has shipping on there, where you can ship and they do the whole payment process and stuff. I think what I'm going to start doing now is I'm going to start hunting in really small locations throughout the U.S. Just putting in different zip codes and cities and stuff like that, and hitting up people, in these small towns where there's nothing around them for 50 miles or 100 miles, and nobody's really, game hunting hardcore like I am, and, just pick up some deals like that. I've heard of people having success with that. So I'm going to try that and see how it goes. Let's see, more questions. How many items do you have listed on eBay at a time? That's a great question. That's a two-part answer, actually. I have about 550 items actually listed on eBay right now. I think I have about 150 actual items on eBay. And the reason I do that is because nowadays, when I list this game right here, I don't want to have to take a picture of it and write the descriptions and stuff like that. I just want to go to my listing that's already been created for it and click revise listing, boom, add one, just add one, and then push update listing, and I'm done. And then when it sells, I grab the freaking game, I put it in a little envelope. Boom, send it. Of course, you got to print out the label, but you know what I mean. And I'm done. And the reason I do that is because I'm lazy as fuck. I always tell people I'm lazy as fuck. That's just a real thing. And I don't have a lot of space in this apartment I'm at, so I have to make good with what I have. Plus, I love freaking hunting and selling video games. How many eBay accounts do you have? I have one. Yeah, I have one eBay account. So I don't misabuse it because I love me some eBay. Just like Lonnie. Hey, Lonnie, I love me some eBay too. Lonnie loves him some eBay. Lonnie, Garage Flip, he loves him some freaking eBay. He loves him some eBay. He's probably going to be at the eBay Open running around freaking giving out hugs to the eBay employees and stuff. I love me some eBay. Oh, man, give me a hug. I love you. I love you so much. Freaking hugging them and stuff, doing spider monkey hugs and all that shit, man. So you go ahead and do that, Lonnie. I'll be right behind you, video recording. Okay, so ask any questions you want, guys. I see some more questions here. Do you play the games till you sell them? If you play games while you're hunting for video games, you're not going to be very successful because video games take up so much time, and they distract you. And like even right now, like I'm doing this, but I'm looking off and on at OfferUp, and if a hit comes up, boom, I'm gone. You know what I mean? I end this stream right away. Yeah, you just have to. When you're hunting games, it's like, what can I compare it to? I don't know, man. It's one of the most hottest game. It's one of the most hottest things to sell. And anytime something pops up on anywhere, on Craigslist, on OfferUp, on Letgo, on wherever, you have to hop on it. You have to be first, or if you're not first, here's another thing too. Let me give out a tip. Let's say a nice lot comes up of, say, Super Nintendo games, right? It's a big ass lot of like 40 Super Nintendo games, right? And the person has it listed for $40. Okay. If you look at the games, if you know what you're looking at, if you look at the games, or you just look a few of them up real quick and you see that the games are worth $300 or $400, don't offer $40. Offer $100. Click in the $100, $100, and then push submit, and then instantly say, hey, I'll do $100. Text me your address, and please mark this listing as sold, and I'm on my way. That's how you do that. You don't fuck around. When there's something out there that's good, you just karate chop it quickly, and that's that. The same thing goes for marketplace and all that stuff. And of course, I say video games, but it could be, if there was a lot of what is it called? iPods, brand new sealed iPods that I scooped up. They were $7 a piece. There was like 10 of them. And the lady said, $7 or best offer. I just said, I'll give you $70. Where can I meet you? Because they were brand new sealed iPods. So I went there, karate chopped it, boom, done. Man, if you want to, if you want to score with these local apps or marketplace or whatever, you just got to be quick. If you're part-time, the local apps, may or may not be for you. They probably are for you, but maybe for bigger ticket items that might move a little bit slower. Because if it's a bigger ticket item and it moves a little bit slower, then you're not going to have as many sharks in the water trying to get that. So, yeah, let me see if there's any more questions up here. Fortnite. Yeah, Fortnite King here. Fortnite is awesome. Hey, Swamp. I see you. How many games do you sell a week on average? on eBay or locally. On eBay, on average, I would say anywhere from 15 to 50, depending on how many I have in my inventory. And locally, 100 plus every week. Because you have Snickle Fritz. You have Ass Pickles. You have a ton of Cooking Mamas and Brain Games and, you know, do I got any? I got a bunch of freaking Ass Pickles here. You know, you got this kind of stuff. You know, this is probably, and that's another thing too. I'm glad you mentioned that because I'm on a road to listing 1,500 listings on eBay. But in that road, I have found out that games that, you know, sell for, say, less than $7.99, $7.95 on eBay, it's better for me to get rid of those locally because I can get $1 or $2 locally instantly, and I don't have to wait 5 months, 3 months, or whatever to make that same $2 or maybe $3 down the road. And I like to flip fast. I mean, what's my name? 5-day flipper. I like to flip fast. So, that's that. Nice score, 9 pots. Thank you. Let me see what else. Any other questions? You see, huge. My chat just went away. Okay, now it's back. You see, huge profit. Fashion design, garment. Okay. Has anyone offered more while you were on the way? Oh, this is a good question, Swamp Picker. Great question. Has anyone offered more while you were on the way to buy something? All the fucking time. All the time. All the time. And the way that I combat this is I ask the buyer, I ask the seller to list the item as sold, to mark it as sold. This way, at least the influx of offers will stop for that particular item. Although they can offer them, more money or whatever on some other items that they're selling. Like, let's say they have 2 listings. One is a listing for video games, and one is a listing for some tennis shoes they listed 4 months ago. Okay? If they click sold on the listing for video games, you can't message them unless you already have messaged them. But what smart hunters will do, and I do this sometimes, is I'll see what else they have listed, and I'll message them on that and say, hey, have you already sold that? I see it's marked as sold, but has the person came and picked up the games already? Or are they coming in the morning? Or they coming on Wednesday or whatever? And sometimes that's the case. Sometimes it's like, yeah, I was going to sell it for $80, but some guy offered me $100, and he's going to pick it up on Wednesday. And today, let's just say today is Monday. So I'll be like, all right, cool. I'll come right now with that $100. And that's that. For people who don't mark it as sold, a lot of times I will get screwed on the way there because if they don't mark it as sold, they just keep getting hit up, especially if it's an amazing deal. If it's an amazing deal, their freaking offer up is going to blow up. And here's the thing about like offer up and let go and stuff like that. There are so many crybabies and haters on there that if they see like the bundles that I was showing you guys, right? Like this bundle, right? They'll see this bundle in all the other games, right? If they see this stuff, and this was $30, and they see that like it's marked as sold, or like they see that like they contact the guy and the guy says, no, it's already sold or whatever. What they'll do is they'll say, oh, you know what? That Fatal Frame game you have, oh, that thing's worth freaking $35 on eBay. You're selling the whole freaking bundle for $30. That one game's worth $35. Like they will throw salt in your shit so quick, man. So quick. And it happens all the time. Like all the time. So you got that. You got the guys offering more. All that stuff. And you have different buyers. You have different sellers on OfferUp. You have a lot of inexperienced people on there. With video games, you have a lot of guys that are like 18, 19, 20 years old. You know, this is like their first, second thing that they've ever sold on, you know, OfferUp or Marketplace or whatever. And they don't have any tact about what they're doing. And they are ruthless and heartless and after the cash. And if something is listed at $30 and you're on your way and somebody offers them $40, they'll contact you 5 minutes before you get there and be like, hey man, somebody offered me $40. Sorry. You know, can you match it or can you do 50 or whatever? Like zero shame, zero regard, zero remorse. And I've had to learn to accept that and how to deal with that because it happens so much that if I couldn't deal with it and I couldn't accept it, I probably couldn't source the way I do on these apps and stuff like that. So let's see. Any other questions? A lot can happen in 5-minute drive. Yeah. Hey, if you guys have more questions, hit me up. I'll probably stay on here another few minutes and then go. But yeah, man, today was a good score. I was just happy, man, that I didn't get screwed over by that one guy, you know, saying, hey man, come out here, $150, it's all good. And then I would have waited there for, you know, 20, 30 minutes on him. And, you know, I'd have been so frustrated and mad. I'm happy. I'm really happy that even though that first deal didn't go through with the Game Boy games, that I didn't go out there and wait for that fool because I seen enough with dealings on OfferUp and Let Go and all this stuff to be able to sniff out that kind of thing. Now, that doesn't mean that it's not going to happen to me again because it'll definitely happen to me again. But I'm going to relish my wins when I have them and accept my losses when I take them. You know, so that's just how it is, man. All right, guys. Well, it was fun chatting with you. I've been live for almost 40 minutes. Please hit the like button. Please subscribe to me if you haven't already subscribed. You know, I did say I was going to start my hater page, my hater group. I haven't did that yet. I'm going to need to start that pretty quick because I know I got some haters out there and I want to have a home for my haters. You know what I mean? I want my haters to feel at home. I want to go talk to my haters. I want to go address some of my haters' thoughts. And, you know, if they come at me with dumb stuff like you're black, die, you know, there's really nothing I can do about that. But, you know, if they have some other stuff, man, that they don't like about me, like, oh, you cuss too much or this and that,